Yo, what's poppin' my corns? Randall Ranger here, and today I'll be covering all the tech I know about so far for every character, along with some general tech for any character. Now, some of this might be stuff you already know, but I don't see it used enough, so I wanted to clear up some mysteries for people that want to learn how to play their favorite characters. Without further ado, let's get started, yeah? Starting this off with general tech that anyone can use, I think it's good to start on parkour since newer players might need help with this. To break it down, you need about a 30-degree angle with you in the wall. When you jump, you want to be close to the wall and also be pressing the movement key in the opposite direction of where you want to go, along with W. If you are doing it right, it should look a little something like this. Another tech I want to go over that I personally use is what I call the ragdoll extend. In order to do this, you need some decent timing to hit your opponent right as they get up, immediately block their counterattack, and then go back to M1ing them. There's also another version you can do if your character has a counter, though it is a little bit more risky if you get predicted. What makes this unique is that the first M1 you do with perfect timing is unblockable, and if they hold block, only your second M1 will be blocked. Many other characters can benefit off of this mechanic as well, letting moves that don't pierce block extend off ragdoll with good timing. An example of one that works is Blood Edge. An example of one that doesn't work is Curse Strikes. Curse Strikes used to work as a true option, but not anymore. Despite this, I still think it's a good option since most people don't expect it, and Curse Strikes is fast enough that it would be hard to react to. The next tech I want to go over is from ancient times. I haven't used this one since the Heian era, mainly since it doesn't work anymore, but it used to be a combo extend for any character. Nowadays, you can just sneak in a little bit of extra damage. It's still a bit of a combo extender, but you won't get much off of it. To explain how it works, you hit 2 M1s, then on the third one, you want to do a backwards dash off to the side before dashing back in with a front dash. This used to reset your M1 counter, but nowadays, you'll just finish with your last M1, meaning it's probably best to just use a down slam as you're finishing M1. Anyways, that's it for general tech. Let's move on to the characters. I'll be starting with Gojo. Gojo is a pretty straightforward guy, and he benefits the most off of when your opponent doesn't have a ragdoll cancel. If I have any advice for him, just try your best to bait ragdolls and then follow up with a crazy high damage combo. His R ability is a pretty standard teleport, but at a certain height threshold you can do a kick, and I'll show you how high you need to be exactly on screen now. Yeah, I lied actually. I forgot to show you guys this one tech with the teleport where you can teleport behind them and it's basically unreactable and it's actually super busted, so I'm gonna show that really quick and yeah, I'll let you guys get back to the tech video.
Oh wait. Oh. Okay. I'm on the ground already. So let's go a bit high. Okay. Again. Oh, there it is.
As you can see, the height is around the height of a lamppost, so keep that in mind. While everyone knows how Gojo's blue is able to do the kick, I don't see enough people use the twofold version, and that's probably because most people don't think it can hit, which is fair because it doesn't look like it should. Another special with this teleport is the teleport behind red. The red teleport is an extremely good whiff punish when you're playing passive and staying out of range. It's also worth noting that because Gojo can hit ragdolls, you can combo off of this whiff punish really easily, or really any ragdoll for that matter. Unique things Gojo can do for combos involves a lot of ragdoll. First off, all of his moves apply ragdoll, and most can hit ragdoll except for rapid punches, which is actually true on get up since it's unblockable, and it is actually really easy to hit with good timing. Twofold kick is also able to combo into any of his moves, and picks people up from ragdoll, which means that ragdoll isn't really a concern as long as you have twofold kicks up. Now, you might be wondering, what do you mean it can combo into anything? Rapid punches doesn't look like it can do that, and well, to that, I can just say this. Next, I want to talk about my favorite character as of now, which is Yuji. Yuji is known for his combos and his signature Manji kick, but his combos are mainly ground based, with Curse Strikes being the only move that doesn't apply ragdoll, so it's very important that you use it wisely. Some people may throw it out raw, and while this can work sometimes, it's really risky if you miss, and I highly advise you don't do this unless you know you'll hit it, since not only do you lose your main combo move, but you also have crazy end lag to get punished off of. Moving on to his specials, he has a feint for everything except Manji kick for obvious reasons. This feint can be used alongside the aerial version of Crushing Blow for movement, though besides that, there aren't many other situations where you'd want to feint. He has two variants for moves, both being aerial versions of Curse Strikes and Crushing Blow. His Black Flash also has something special where if you hit someone from behind, it allows you to do another Black Flash, which is pretty interesting. There's an unintended feature with this though, where it's pretty stupid, but you can do the old forward dash combo extend, which I'll show on screen now. To explain how this is done, you want to hit a Black Flash from behind, wait for a second, then use your forward dash and make sure you don't change your angle too much to hit in front of the person, and you should be able to pull it off successfully. Moving on, as before mentioned, Yuji can't true combo on get up with curse strikes, unlike Gojo and Choso who have moves that are true on get up. So you'll have to get creative with your options and have good timing when it comes to comboing a ragdolled opponent, and I'll go over some cool strategies I have to get around this. While Yuji doesn't necessarily have anything specifically designed to hit ragdoll besides crushing blow, due to the mechanics of Jujutsu shenanigans, you're actually able to hit a behind Black Flash on an opponent, granted you time it correctly, know their ping, and you use it right after crushing blow. Another thing you can use is curse strikes right after crushing blow or an uppercut, but I don't recommend this since I feel this one depends more on the opponent's ping, and if you whiff, you just wasted curse strikes. I think you're starting to notice now that while Yuji has a way to pick people up off the floor, being crushing blow, to really benefit off of this is risky, since if your opponent ragdoll cancels, it's an easy punish, and it's difficult to pull off with variables out of your control. So these are just secondary options when nothing else seems to work, and you can't keep them on the ground. For the most reliable on get up hit, I recommend just timing a good Black Flash to hit them as soon as they get up. Next up is Hakari. He doesn't really have that many special things about him, and he's a pretty straightforward guy. You land hits, you do big damage, and the combos aren't really crazy or anything. His special move is a counter, and while it itself doesn't give any of his moves a variant, he does have one special in which he can use Shutter Doors alongside his ball. Now, because no matter how I say it, it's gonna sound weird, I'm going all in. You can get your balls to the wall and have that bounce off and hit your opponent while also spawning in Shutter Doors. I don't know why you might want to do this, but the option's out there, and here's something I came up with.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Oh my god.
As you can see, these combos are insanely impractical, but if you get stuck between your opponent and a hard place, I guess you could put that hard place to use by bouncing it off the wall. Moving on, something interesting about Hakari is that he too can do the get up hit with his Shutter Doors, but that's about it. You're not going to see much usage with this honestly since it's weird to time and you could probably use this move better, but it's out there. Our next character is Megumi. Megumi is mostly a zoner type, and as such he doesn't really have that good of damage, though a lot of fights can be won by just playing really passive and repeating a basic combo over and over until you whittle them down. I'll show you two variants of the combo that you can pull off to whittle them down. Starting with his special moves, the default goes underground and allows you to travel faster, as well as bring items along with you to use later. As for his variants, by pressing 2 and 3, he has the Nue Frog, which allows you to throw people into the air and slam them down. Bunnies in conjunction with the underground move make you pop out and deal damage, and finally, Nue's variant allows you to fly along with Nue by pressing R in the windup. Some other special properties regarding Megumi's moves is that the dog can act as a counter, since it only goes away if you get ragdolled, so as long as you input an attack from the dog before you get hit with something that isn't a ragdoll, you'll be fine. The same goes for the frog, although it takes a longer time to come out, so it's not as reliable, although if you do get ragdolled, it will still come out. Another thing worth mentioning is that the dog is also extremely useful in M1 interactions, specifically when you hit the opponent's block, since you can just use the dog and get out for free. Now for the bread and butter combos you've been waiting for, you can use these combos and adopt the passive playstyle by waiting cooldowns once you land the combo. First I'll show the grounded variant, and then I'll show the aerial one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I actually recorded this before the nerfs, and during editing, Mahito was nerfed and is a lot more reasonable, so this part might be a little short, but that's just because I don't really see much tech with Mahito after the nerfs. Most of his moves are pretty straightforward now, and he has reasonable end lag. Anyways, let's get back to the video. Mahito is able to change his forward dash by pressing R, which gives him different tools for his hands. The first one, the blades, give him a teleporting dash, which is pretty nifty, but not used very often. His second option, though, is turning his hands into hammers, I think? And honestly, this one is just a free combo ender off of Ragdoll, as if his combos weren't long enough. Another thing he can do is move along with his worm by pressing Focus Strike during the windup, giving him a free move to combo someone who just used their Ragdoll cancel. His Transfigured Hammers also have an aerial variant, and it's just something to use to hit someone ragdolled. It also has very low end lag, making it difficult to punish on whiff. When it comes to his Focus Strike, he has two options to choose from. The first is the no Black Flash variant, which allows you to extend combos on opponents who aren't ragdolled, and the Black Flash variant, which hits ragdoll people and is unblockable. Both of them have their own situations to be used in, though I really recommend saving it for a combo extend. Moving on to Choso. Choso is probably my second favorite character right next to Yuji. This guy is loaded with tech, and honestly, I think he's pretty unfair in a few scenarios. First off, every single one of his moves can hit Ragdoll. He has a lot in common with Gojo, but he just has like a little bit less range, a little less opportunity to be punished, and a lot of his moves are a little faster. But to be fair, they take a lot more skill to use than Gojo. Overall, Choso is pretty strong, but it's mainly because of Supernova and having to know how to use it. Beginning with his special, the special allows him to pull out some blood orbs at the cost of his awakening meter, much like Gojo's special. Now, while this doesn't sound super crazy, these orbs are really what makes Choso good and gives him access to his best moves. Without these orbs, he doesn't have many options. With his orbs being mentioned, I think it's about time we get into his moves and what the orbs do for these moves exactly. Starting off with his first move, Freezing Blood, this is just a standard range that fragments. When it's powered up by an orb though, it allows you to charge it up further, signified by a glow around your body, which makes the beam do more damage and become unblockable, along with having a bit more range. His next move, Flowing Red Scale, from what I can tell, the base variant doesn't have any changes applied to it besides maybe doing more damage when you have an orb out, but that's only for the grounded variant. Both of them will pick up Ragdoll players, regardless of if it has an orb or not. Now the same can be said for the aerial variant of Flowing Red Scale, though. If you have an orb, it'll place one where you land after the axe kick, but unlike most other orbs, this one doesn't disappear upon being hit, and it can be exploded at any time by pressing R, like wherever you are, no matter what is going on. You can just press R and it'll blow up. So what this means is you can kind of just escape combos if your opponent happens to be hitting you near the orb that you have on the floor, so it's pretty good. But also, that's not all the orb can do. It can boost you up as movement tech, and there is some special tech with it to land Piercing Blood, which I'll show you on screen right now. Alright, now the next move we have to cover is the man, or I guess the orb, the myth, and the legend, Supernova. So this is your bread and butter right here. Like, you're doing everything with this. Choso has a lot of combos, and they all really rely on how many orbs you have, so it's tough to decide between using the orbs while in neutral or during your combo. Supernova, when used without orbs, makes you do a counter, which then gives you all your orbs, though unlike Manji Kick, this counter won't hit ranged attacks. This counter also won't be readily available whenever you want, because ideally you should have your blood orbs out whenever you can, and when they're out, you don't get the counter. But it is there just in case you get caught with your pants down, I guess. Alright, now moving on to when he does have the orbs, Supernova lets you cast them out and make them explode by pressing R. Now, if you've only been using these orbs and combos thinking they weren't useful in neutral, I have some things to share with you. First off, while the orbs do disappear upon being hit, you can basically detonate these orbs whenever you want besides that. If you are dashing into someone, you can blow up the orb while in the dash animation, or while you're doing a move, you can blow it up so they can't punish your end lag if they happen to be standing near the orb, which is probably never going to happen, but it's out there. Now, if you think that's like a little bit crazy, there's actually even more to it. You can blow up these bad boys before you even throw them out. Like, it'll blow up right in front of you before anybody even knows what happened. Which I'll show on screen right now with my friend Judy. Now, I also think it's very important to say that these explosions will hit behind block if the orb is behind them. And where they get flung is related to where the orb is. While these orbs are crazy in combos, I don't think it should be overlooked how good they can be in neutral. Now, for Choso's last move, the one with that badass finisher is more than just a cool finishing move. If you remember how I said that you could true combo and get up at the beginning for particular moves, this is one of them that I mentioned. With good timing, you can just pick somebody off of the ground after they get up, and it's completely true. They can't block it. Unless they have a counter, but if you don't have a counter, you're cooked. So, with that in mind, this means that literally every single one of Choso's moves can hit ragdolled opponents, so you can really get creative with the combos, much like Gojo. But, unlike Gojo, he does have to manage his resources, and if you don't have enough orbs, you're not going to be able to combo. This is also Choso's only move that isn't affected by orbs at all, so it's always a reliable option to have. Anyways, with Choso done, that just about wraps up this video. Thank you for watching everyone, and once Toto drops, I'll be making a new video on him too, but in the meantime, stay tuned for my guides and tech on awakened characters. Rando Ranger out.